And the close friends are the people who are in my same group. So the strength of that connection reflects the fact that I interact with people. But in the sports network, we have at least one example in which these two pieces of information do not reinforce each other. And that's kind of interesting. It suggests that there might be other examples where different structure, different underlying structure is embedded in the existence versus the weight information. We don't know how often that occurs or in what conditions that occurs, but that's an interesting question. Right now with this model, we're collaborating with some folks at the Allen Institute to try to apply it to thinking about brain networks, which are inherently weighted. The strength of the connections tell you a lot about the functionality. And the idea is, can we use these kinds of learning techniques to understand something about the large-scale structure of the brain, which is kind of an exciting new thing. OK. So as a second example of dealing with sort of rich data, we're now going to think about evolving networks. And in particular, we're going to think about trying to detect when something is changing about them. So temporal networks, the structure is changing over time. You might take snapshots. So if I think about everyone that you are close to at different times of the day, that would be an evolving network. Because usually, you're not next to the same people at every moment in the day. So the changes in this network, some of them are going to be noise. Some of them are going to be you randomly bump into somebody, or they're going to be some unpredictable aspect. But other changes are going to be what we are going to call structural change points. These are changes in the process that generates those edges. So as an example, instead of thinking about one day, let's think about an entire semester, or rather maybe an entire year. So the underlying processes that generate the social interactions of students at a university is essentially the term schedule. So in the summer, they interact with very different people than who they interact with during the fall semester. And then when they go on fall break, it's a different set of people again. So this little schematic is from a regular a temporal time series. This is just some scalar value as a function of time. And you can see that we're trying to essentially find